Hey everybody, welcome back to another Lego City, Lego Room, Lego Mock video here. We're going to be placing these in the Lego City today. And of course, we're going to have a detailed look at them as well. What are these? Well, these are actually the facades that Mrs. Bricksie made. Wow. Did she ever do a good job, eh? They look absolutely amazing. Like, I'm blown away by how good they look. And I couldn't be more proud of her. She did a really good job on creating all of these different facades that just look absolutely incredible. Now these facades are going to go in the Lego City, and of course we'll be placing them in the city today, and they're actually going to be used to cover the back side of Diagon Alley, because we know that the amazing Lego Harry Potter Diagon Alley set is amazing. It looks incredible in the Lego City. The problem is when you put the buildings facing one another and you create a Diagon Alley scene, you can see the open backs of the buildings because they're not full modular buildings, they're open backed. So we had to come up with a way to cover the open backs and make it look really good in the Lego City. And they've been over there and the backs have been exposed for quite some time, and we're really excited to finally cover up those backs with the beautiful facades that Mrs. Bricksie made. So yeah, we're pretty stoked. Let's have a look at the Pop Culture Street over there in the Lego City as it is right now with the Diagon Alley and it's open backed. So please pardon the current state of Pop Culture Street. It's a little bit of a mess, and we're going to be, of course, cleaning that up today in this video as well. So Diagon Alley is an extremely cool set. It can be placed on a shelf. It can be placed in a Lego City. And the really neat thing about it is you can put it in many different ways. So like you can have it back to back to cover up the open backs and create sort of like a modular building that can be on a street. Or you can do what we did and have them facing each other. Or you can have them in one long line. But the problem is when you do it the way that we did it, you can see the open backs. It doesn't look that good. I mean, don't get me wrong, the interior details of Diagon Alley look fantastic, but not when you can see them from the street. It's not really what we're hoping to do. So we're going to be using those facades today to cover that up, because nobody in their right mind wants to look at the interior of the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes when they're on Pop Culture Street. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So Jose and I knew that we had to make some facades. And as you can see, we left a 10 stud area right there. And that's where those facades are going to go. So the way our Pop Culture Street works is it's actually 2 base plates wide. That's like Sanctum Sanctorum and Daily Bugle right there. That's 2 base plates. So the Diagon Alley set actually has buildings that are 16 studs or half a base plate. So we were left with 1 full base plate. So what we decided to do is have 10 studs on the back side to build the facades. And then the remaining 12 studs we actually used inside the alley. So we actually created a larger alley, and we carried over the alley cobblestone design. So then we have more space. You can actually see the buildings, give them a little bit of breathing room. And it created like a little, hidden alley, which truly it should be. In fact, you can see Hagrid and Harry right here about to enter the alley just behind the Quickie Mart. So yeah, let's go over there. Let's have a look at the facades, and then let's place them here in the Lego City. So as you can see, there's 4 different buildings here, and they span a total of 4 base plates. Let's start by having a detailed look at the Harry Potter one, which is 12 Grimald Place. So this one here was actually the only one that Jose used any reference material to create from rebrickable.com. There was a mock on rebrickable.com of 12 Grimald Place, and we sort of modified it, turned it into a facade. We didn't actually buy the instructions, or she didn't. She just took a look at the pictures and then sort of made it work on her own. So of course, 12 Grimald Place is the dark bluish gray building that we have in the center here, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I love the black fence pieces here, and also the custom fence that she built using the antenna pieces here around the front of the building. And you can see that there's lots of nice texture on the building here, using snot bricks and also tiles. The windows here are actually inset quite nicely using jumpers, so you can see the top set of windows actually comes out about half a stud. And then the neighboring buildings are essentially the same. They're just in that nougat color. And it looks really fantastic when they're all together, doesn't it? And of course, those windows on the second level have some arches going over top to add a nice texture to the building. And then we've got some chimneys on the top here as well. Now there is a separate secret entrance right here to enter into Diagon Alley, and you'll see when we place this that actually lines up perfectly with Nocturne Alley, sort of that weird hole in Diagon Alley that is left open there, so you can sort of customize it and do as you please to try and make it work. So there's the back side of the facades. Like we said, they're not full buildings. They're just to cover up the backside and fit in a narrow area. So you can see here they're only about 10 studs wide, and then this here tile is going to clip it into place onto the road plate. We actually built them on some of the scraps of blue base plates that we have just to get that weird size. So yeah, they're 10 studs, and that one looks pretty sharp. So that's the first one. That's 12 Grimald Place, Harry Potter inspired. So obviously it's going to pair up beautifully with the Harry Potter Diagon Alley buildings. So next up we have a full house. And of course it's a very popular TV show that Bricksie here has never seen, but an iconic townhouse that can be found in the show. And it looks really good. So on the bottom here we have our dark red masonry brick staircase, a red door, and there's a railing going up on either side of that staircase, pillars, and a nice covering over top of the door. And we've got a garage door there with some dark tan pieces. And as you can see, this one here uses those snot bricks and also the tan tiles to give that nice texture to the outside of the building, similar to Grimald Place. And then we have these nice curved windows that curve outward, which is definitely pretty cool. It's got some nice texture on there with these modified connector pieces and also some of the inverted slopes and slopes. And it just protrudes the perfect amount. And of course, the way we're able to do that was using the hinge bricks. Just above that, you got some of those modified 1x1s with the teeth, and then the modified rail pieces above that. That's the 1x plates with the rail. And then she's snot bricked some alternating colors here and has these nice arches coming out. And then the roof is just done with some slopes. And it looks really good. And that is fully custom. She didn't use any instructions or any reference material from rebrickable.com. Simply just Googled a photo of the full house townhouse and then did some blueprints on grid paper, ordered parts accordingly, and fully built this thing from scratch. So she did a really good job with that one. And of course, it's the same dimensions, and you can see the back side of it here as it's just, it's a fairly strong building actually. Not a whole lot of loose pieces, all connected as one unit. And there's the back side of it. So yeah, pretty sharp looking full house facade. Once again, another fully customized one here. This is breakfast at Tiffany's. Looks really good in that tan color. She's actually snot bricked some cheese wedges to the outside of the windows to give them a nice frame. And then she's put some arch pieces over top. Sets of 4 black windows. We've got our staircase here. There's Tiffany's cat. Also, we've got a nice nougat staircase with once again, the railings going up to the black door there. We've got some nice fencing elements on the outside here, and then some vines coming up the face of the building there. And these represent some of the awnings found on the building of Breakfast with Tiffany's. And then it's got some nice texture on the outside here underneath the windows as well. And some of these nice fancy bricks on the top here with the inverted slopes to create the roof. So that one looks pretty good as well. Great job, Jose, on that one. Once again, fully customized. Just referenced some pictures from Google of the building and made it on grid paper and ordered the necessary parts, and away she went. So that one looks pretty sharp as well. Once again, Bricksie's never seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, but based on the images that she showed me, I think this looks absolutely amazing. So it took Jose quite some time to come up with all of the different buildings that she wanted to run with. And the last one is actually inspired by 101 Dalmatians. So this one actually wasn't found in the live action film, but it was the building that was inspired to create the building in 101 Dalmatians. So it's a little hidden Mickey on the front here actually with these trees. So a little hidden Mickey there, which is pretty neat, of course, because 101 Dalmatians, of course, is Disney. And then we've got the 2 dogs here. We've got Pongo and Perdita, and they're just outside of the building there. I love what she did with the checkered tiling out front, the front door here. Obviously doing black and white to match the 101 Dalmatian theme. And she once again has snot bricked some tiles here to add some nice texture to the outside of the building. And then we've got some nice windows there with some of those modified 1x1 bricks and the fence pieces out front, some cheese wedges on the top. And you can see there's actually a rail going along here and also a rail going along here. And then we have some fence pieces on the top here just to create a balcony. And once again, got some slopes on the top here to add a nice roof. So definitely looks pretty good. Good rate representation of the building found in 101 Dalmatians. And when we pair all of these buildings up here, That's the last three that we had a look at. That's 101 Dalmatians, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and also Full House. That's going to cover up one side of Diagon Alley. And then when we have this one here, which of course is 12 Grimald Place, it's going to cover up the other side of Diagon Alley. And you'll see that when we place this one here, this arch is going to match up perfectly with Nocturne Alley, which is right outside of the Weasley Wizard Wheezes. And this will actually match up perfectly with that little cutout hole in the Nocturne Alley area. So yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet. Let's place them in the city. Hey look, we can reach into the center of the city. Well, first things first when working on the city is we've got to move the modular table, especially when you're going to those far, hard to reach areas. The first one being Full House has been installed. Next up, 101 Dalmatians. And to finish up this side here, Full House. However, we've come across a little bit of a problem that we can fix. We're just going to have to fill in the backside with a solid color because you can see sort of the hollow back of the facades. So we're going to have to fill that one in with just to give it a more complete look. And then of course we've still got a place, Grimald Place. All right, so we very quickly just filled in the back and that made it blend in seamlessly, so that's perfect. Also, we added a bunch of minifigures. Now we really like the way this all lined up. You can see the fence just out front of Breakfast with Tiffany's there. It lined up perfectly with that pink wall on the 101 Dalmatians and actually comes out the same distance as the trees and bushes. So they all blend together pretty nicely there, and actually looks really good beside Peter Parker's apartment and the pizzeria here. So yeah, pretty happy with these ones. Remember the other day when we were unboxing parts and we said, what do you think this yellow umbrella's for? Well, there it is. It's a How I Met Your Mother reference. There you go. We placed 4 Grimald Place. It looks awesome. It matches up perfectly with the backside of Diagon Alley. Also, you can see the stone wall here where there's Hagrid and Harry about to go into Diagon Alley through Nocturne Alley. Just lines up perfectly with that hole there. And look, we placed Moon Man's Harry Potter inspired telephone booth right there, which would be the entrance to the Ministry of Magic. But yeah, doesn't that look good? Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Time to put our modular table back and take a look at the final result. Okay, so the LEGO City downtown core is coming along beautifully. So glad that we were able to make those additions to Pop Culture Street today. It looks incredible. So yeah, we've got Full House, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and 101 Dalmatians on this street here. Looks pretty amazing. And then we have 4 Grimald Place on this side here. This is like the street of nougat. You've got the nougat roof on Quickie Mart, then Sesame Street, 4 Grimald Place, the Sanctum Sanctorum, and then of course the sitcom tower. So a lot of nougat going on there. But yeah, you can see across the street here we've got some plates that we got to figure out what we're going to do here. We're thinking a smaller size, probably 16 by 16 apartment style buildings, and we're going to do them all the way along there, and they're going to be the same height as modular buildings, so the same height as these guys here, and we'll do them 16 by 16, so there'll be lots of different textures and colors and all different ones all the way along here. Plus 16 by 16 is going to be really easy to manage because it's just a 16 by 16 plate for the floors. It's just going to be super easy to build. So we think we're going to do that and fill that in with some nice tall modular buildings just so it looks good on this side as well. But yeah, as you can see, the LEGO City downtown core is nearing completion. Let us know what you think of the placement of these facades. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. Thanks for popping by. Have a great one.